welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, hello and welcome. My name is Megan. Today's video is you guys' favorite type of video, which is going to be a week of workouts video. Super excited about this. I created a 4-week split for myself, so this is only something that I'm doing for 4 weeks up until the end of the year. Right before Christmas is when the split ends, because the week of Christmas I'm just taking off and enjoying the holidays and then getting back into a new split for the new year. I know how much you love week of workouts, and I really wanted to film another one for you guys before the year ended, especially one with this new split. It's very similar to my previous week of workouts in the split and the style of it, but the key differences are going to be changes in exercises and changes in rep schemes and kind of manipulation of the things that I was doing. So it is different, and I'm really excited to take you guys through it. I appreciate the love and support you guys show me on these so much, and I'm so happy they're helpful because it's really my number one goal to help you guys feel confident with the form, the movements, and understanding what you're doing. If you guys ever have any other questions, again, always feel free. Follow me on Instagram, DM me on Instagram. I'm here to help you guys, or if you guys need further support and more in-depth support, feel free to reach out to me on my coaching Instagram, which I do personalized programs or one-on-one coaching, whichever it is you're looking for. We are starting off the week with a quad focused leg day. I love to start my week off with the sumo deadlifts because, again, I'm still trying to get my strength back on those. So that is what we're starting off with today. And let's just get into the workout. We're starting off our workout with sumo deadlifts. The reason that I'm starting with this movement is because it is the most demanding exercise of the day, so you want to put it first when you have as much energy as possible. So key considerations are you want to brace, pull the slack out of the bar, and rep to rep. Just ensure that you try to maintain the form and hip height throughout. I'll show you guys a side view as well so you guys can get a sense of my hip height and making sure that you don't want your hips to shoot up before the bar is off of the floor. I have a full video all about sumo technique and form that I think would be very helpful if you guys want more of an in-depth tutorial. Make sure that you warm up properly, as this is a very heavily loaded lift and high volume training with a 5x4, so you want to make sure that you're fully warm and mobile before you get into your working sets. I did not just start with 225 on the bar. Now we're moving into a new variation in my routine for this training split, which is going to be a landmine single leg RDL. I saw this variation, someone doing it, and I was like, I want to try that because I feel like it's something different, and I really like the idea of using the D handle so you worry less about holding the weight and more about just doing the movement pattern. So the key considerations with this is the same as a traditional RDL, and if you don't have this landmine setup, you can absolutely still do a traditional RDL with a dumbbell. To set up, you're just going to put that D handle around the end of the landmine, and then you have the weight on the side there. And then I slightly elevated my front foot. Ideally, I would have wanted to elevate it a tiny bit more to allow it so that you get that full range of motion without the plate banging on the floor before you're able to get there. And key considerations with an RDL always are going to be to send the hips back to get that full stretch in the hamstring, and these I'm doing with a more hamstring bias instead of glute bias. Later in the week on the glute focused leg day, I'll do a more glute bias variation, but basically for hamstrings you want a little less knee bend, for glute bias you want a little bit more. But now we're going to go into some pitshark belted squats. I always tell people, if you don't have this machine, totally fine. Once I leave this gym, I'm not going to have it either. You guys can do something like a heavy weighted goblet squat or a heavy weighted sumo squat. However, if you are using the pitshark, you're going to unrack the weight. You want to have about a shoulder width apart stance with your toes slightly outwards, just whatever is the most comfortable squat stance for you. And then you want to hold on to those safety bars up there to give you a little bit of support. And then obviously just your traditional squat pattern. And you could also do something like a barbell squat if you're not too fatigued after you do deadlifts, as that will give you a similar movement pattern as well. But the key consideration is just you want to do any squat variation to get a little bit more quad recruitment. Now we're moving into single leg presses, and when I tell you guys, for some reason this machine was so much freaking heavier than mine that I was doing at home. So I literally didn't add any weight. I don't know if I was just super fatigued from my work before or not, but I didn't add any weight and I just went in with single leg with the machine. I don't know how much this weighed, but it was literally kicking. I did it at a 4x6, so a lot lower of a rep range, and this is really just because I wanted to emphasize that single leg isolation and make sure that I was pushing myself. And as you guys can see, I was in literal pain. I was dying. It was very hard. And then I switched legs and I did it on the other side. And as far as the form for leg press, it's pretty straightforward. You would just want to follow the machine directions when it comes to unracking the press part of the machine. When doing them single leg, I advise that you unrack it with both of your feet on the platform and then remove one, just to keep it super safe and make sure that you don't drop it on yourself. But as far as the movement pattern, obviously you're just pressing up and down and aim to get that full range of motion. But now we're going to go into our last exercise, which is such a freaking burner at this rep range range. So I decided that I wanted to do some higher rep leg extensions instead of some of the other variations that I was doing in the past, and these did not disappoint as a burner. So we are doing 4 rounds of 15 reps. I'm doing fine until I get to rep 10, and then it's really just changes in my face from there. I had to take a quick second to catch my breath there, but I do not stop and I make sure that I get every single rep, because every single rep really counts, especially at the end of your workout. You want to push through, and this was such a good quad day. I hope you guys enjoy it. Hello guys, it is officially Tuesday, which means I'm going to be taking you guys through a push day slay, as I love to call it. Push day is one of the days that I honestly would skip so much. So ever since putting it at the beginning of my workout week, I've noticed that I'm more apt to go. So if you guys are unfamiliar with what push day is, push is going to be movements that mostly use the push movement pattern, and the muscle groups that mainly is going to target is chest, shoulders, and triceps. So that is what I will be focusing on today's workout. This workout is honestly super quick and effective. I highly recommend it for people who just want a quick push day workout or are on the go and just need something quick and easy. So without further ado, let's get this push day slay. Starting off, we want to do our pressing movements first, because those are going to be probably the most demanding on this day. If you guys like to bench press, this is what you would do first. I'm just doing a flat dumbbell press. I was doing incline before, but I wanted to shift to something a little different, so I'm doing flat press here. When doing this movement, you actually want to bring your elbows a little bit inwards towards your body, and this is going to help to bring an angle that's a little bit more healthy for your shoulder joints. And then lastly, you just want to ensure that you're getting the full range of motion of the movement by ensuring that when you come down, you get to your chest height, and then you're just going to push back up, aiming to keep tension throughout the entire movement pattern. Next up, we're going to be going into our second pressing movement as well as a superset. So starting off the superset, we are first going to be doing shoulder presses. Again, keep your shoulder joints in mind with this movement pattern. It's totally okay to bring your elbows and your arms a little bit more towards your body instead of being perfectly out from your shoulders. And as far as setup, you want to be at a bench that is 90 degrees so that you can just be straight up when doing this movement. And then as far as the pattern itself, you want to start to begin the press upwards once you get to about shoulder height. For the second movement in the superset, you want to go straight into these lateral raises. I am doing 12 reps here at a weight that makes it a nice challenge. Since you're doing this right after the pressing movement, you're already going to have some fatigue, so pick a weight that feels appropriate. And you want to raise slightly in front of you as opposed to going straight out from your body to protect the shoulder joints. I don't know how many times I've said that, but now we're going to go into chest cable flies. If you guys don't have a cable machine, or it's just never open, because I know that is a common theme, you guys can do these on a bench with dumbbells, or you can also do them. A lot of gyms just have the machine for it, so there's always an option for you. But key considerations here is you want to have them at about shoulder height is where I like to do them, but you can do them low to high, high to low, and really aim to control this movement, getting the full stretch and keeping control even on the way back to really get that stretch in your chest. Next, we're going to be moving into our last movement of the day. We are doing cable tricep extensions. With these, you want to have the cable attachment high, and then you can use this attachment that I'm using here or a rope attachment. The key thing that I like to tell people here is make sure that your elbow stays fixed to your side. So as you guys can see, my elbow stays in the same place, and then I'm just pushing down all the way to get full extension in my triceps. Hello guys, we are halfway through this week of workouts, halfway through the week, and we are going to be doing a cardio and core day. I used to never do cardio ever, and so I decided the only way that I was going to do it is if I made a day dedicated to it. So I have a cardio and core day, not strict at all when it comes to what I'm doing. So every cardio and core day can look different. I think I mentioned this in my last video, but it's really just like what form of exercise is most practical for me to do this day. So today I'm feeling like up for it. I'm feeling good. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll try and do some sprints and stuff like that. Sometimes I just literally walk on the treadmill. If it's nice outside, I'll go on walks. And then as far as my core circuit, some of the moves are the same as last week and some are a little bit different because I like to spice things up, so I'll show you guys that. I don't have that much camera battery to be filming 30 minutes of cardio, so we'll just see what I can get filmed for you guys, and then I will take you guys through my core circuit. Without further ado, let's just get into this cardio and core workout. So to begin my cardio today, I started off with just walking for 10 minutes. I wanted to ensure that I was nice and warmed up before I got into my sprint intervals. Then after 10 minutes of walking, I am doing a sprint interval training. So basically what I did today was I did 30 seconds on where I am sprinting at about speed 7.5. So maybe not sprinting, but running at a fast pace. And then after 30 seconds, I just hopped on the side and I would just wait 30 seconds, catch my breath, and then hop right back on and for another 30 seconds do a sprint interval. And I did that for 10 rounds. So basically 10 sprints and then 10 rest periods. And it doesn't take very long, obviously, because it's just 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. Then afterwards, I went back in and I did an incline walk, and I incline walk for 5 minutes. You can pick whatever incline is best for you. I think I did incline 5.5-ish. And then I did a 5-minute cool cool down where I just walked on the treadmill and kind of caught my breath, and then I did a little bit of stretching before I went down and went into doing a core circuit that I will take you guys through. But you guys can do whatever form of cardio is best for you, whatever you guys want to do. I just wanted to give you guys some inspo if you wanted to follow what I did. Now for the circuit, you guys can either do this where you pick the amount of reps you do, or you can time it. I decided to pick the amount of reps I did because I was doing some things that had weight involved. This first thing that I'm doing, I don't even freaking know what this is going to be called. I'm going to call it like a dumbbell pull through plank push-up position. I don't even know. I feel like for ab exercises, the videos speak more than I could ever explain, but essentially you just want to be in push-up position and then pick a dumbbell, and you want to be picking up that dumbbell on the same side that it is on with the same arm that is on that side and pulling it through while trying to keep your torso and core as stable as possible. I probably could have been doing a little bit of a better job now that I'm looking back. But next we're going into, I don't know what these are called either. I call them in and outs. I like to think of this being a nice alternative to something like a mountain climber, but it's a similar movement pattern. And since it's slowed down, you want to just really ensure that you're bracing your core throughout the movement and thinking about keeping overall trunk stability. And as far as the movement itself, obviously you're just bringing one toe in, one toe in, one toe out, one toe out. Then we're moving into lying heel taps, which I had in the previous week of workouts. And essentially with these, what you want to do is you want your head to come up and you want to be in kind of like a crunch position. And then with your legs at 90 degrees on each side, you're going to just do these heel taps, and you're definitely going to feel this throughout your core, and you want to ensure that you're keeping this nice and controlled. If this becomes too easy body weight, you can also hold the dumbbell up in the air while you're doing it. Next, we're going to go into pass around the world, whatever they're called. This is like the worst voiceover ever, I'm sorry. But with these, what you want to do is you want to ensure that you have stability of your whole trunk for these to be worthwhile. And what you want to do is you want to brace your core, and then you want to hold something and bring it around. I do a certain amount for one direction, and then I switch directions and do that same amount on the other side. I was doing these standing last time, and then I saw that a lot of people do them kneeling, and I think that that was just better for me to ensure that I could just focus on core stability and not overall standing stability, but it's up to you. Then finishing off with one of my favorite things, which is going to be farmer marches, but with this, instead of holding the weight down, I decided that I would do holding the weight up on each side. So I would pick up the dumbbell, press it up, and then use my other arm holding out for stability, and then I would just do marches in place. You could also do this walking if you had somewhere to walk, but that is going to finish off the core circuit. Hello guys, and welcome to Thursday, honestly my favorite workout of the week, which is going to be glute focused legs. I'm so excited to take you guys through this. I'm also wearing the new ONER Active, which I'm super excited about. This is the zip up, and then I'm wearing a little zip up underneath. You guys will see the full fit, but I'll make a full video on that. But I'm super excited for you guys to get your hands on this new collection. Let's just get into the video, and I'll walk you guys through all the goods to get the juiciest glutes. Let's get into it. We're gonna start off with a calf glute bridge complex. I changed this up in my routine, and I've really been enjoying this. So as opposed to doing traditional stance, we're actually going to be doing B stance, and I literally had a dumbbell there and it went flying, and this girl grabbed it for me and I said thank you. But anyways, like I mentioned, it's going to be a complex, so we're starting off with B stance calf glute bridges, or some people call them staggered stance. Essentially, as you guys can see by my footing here, one foot is going to be fully flat on the ground. The foot that is flat on the ground is going to be the leg that is working, and in this case the glute that is working, and the other foot is really just propped up like that for full support, because obviously you don't want your foot just like in midair while you're trying to balance. As far as positioning, you want to have your shoulder blades on the bench. My gym has this like fancy dancy machine, but you guys can just stack things or use one of the boxes that your gym provides. But you just want to make sure that it is an appropriate height for you to where you can hit full hip extension at the top of the movement. A nice marker for me is usually about where my knee is where I've noticed has been a good height, but everyone is obviously going to vary. Then you want to grab a dumbbell, or you guys can use like an easy bar, whatever your gym has, and you want it to be a lighter weight, and you're going to be doing a burnout here. So you're going to go into 10 calf glute bridges, and then on the last one you want to do a hold for as long as you possibly can. In a nutshell, what you're going to be doing is the B stance calf glute bridge on each leg into 10 with both legs with a dumbbell into a hold on the last rep. And with any thrusting movement, you want to put it at the beginning of the workout, and you really want to make sure that you have your toes slightly outwards, and that's going to allow you to get that full hip extension at the top, which is important as that's where the glutes are going to be at their full contraction. Now we're going to be moving into barbell RDLs. With these, we want to have a slight glute emphasis. We are going to break, and we're going to have a little bit more knee bend. As you guys can see here, my knees have slightly more bend as I'm going down. That's the key difference that allows for more stretch on the glute muscles. And as far as the stance and everything, you want your toes to be face forward. You don't want them pointed outwards. And as always with RDLs, the key component is going to be that hip hinge. So think of pushing your hips backwards as if you are closing a door, or another good way to think of it is a standing hip thrust. You want to get that full range of motion, so make sure that you lock out at the top portion and use a weight that's challenging since we're doing a 4x8. Now we're going to be moving into back extensions with a glute emphasis. So the way to emphasize your glutes on these is you want to have the weight farther away from your body. And then as far as setup, you want to ensure that the pad allows you to get full range of motion, but we're really just going to focus on the top third range of motion here because that's where the glutes are emphasized. The further down you go, the more lower back and hamstring recruitment can come. And then also you want to make sure you have a little bit of a knee bend and your toes slightly outwards, which are also going to help you to emphasize the glutes further. It also made me laugh when my AirPod was like hanging on for dear life throughout this whole set and then just yeets out of my ear. But now we're going to be going into Bulgarian split squats. I typically would program step ups at this portion of the workout. However, there was no appropriate place for me to be doing step ups at this gym. They like changed the layout, so I'm doing split squats instead. But to emphasize the glutes on these, you just want to have a bit more of a forward lean and be going a little bit more up and down as opposed to letting the knee travel too close to the toe. And also make sure that you have the weight on the side of the working leg. Now we're going to go into the last movement of the day. I always finish with these for a little isolation work. We're going to go into glute med kickbacks. So what you want to do is have the cable at the lowest height, wrap the ankle attachment around your ankle, or if you don't have one of these, you guys can just use a D handle and you can just put your foot through it. It's a little harder to balance, but it still works. And you want to kick backwards and outwards at about 45 degrees. It's totally fine to hold on to something. As you guys can see, my hand is gripping onto that pole for dear life. And you want your torso to remain pretty upright when doing these. I know in the past you might have seen videos of people being all the way leaned over. You don't want to be doing that. You want to stay upright and make sure that the muscle fibers are aligning to get that full emphasis on the glute muscle that you're looking to build. We finally made it to Friday, the final workout of the week. I love to work out Monday through Friday, have the weekends to just rest and relax. So let's get a great session in. Today is going to be a pull day. Like I mentioned earlier in the week, push day is going to be your pushing, pressing movements. Pull day is going to be your pulling movements. These are mainly going to emphasize and focus on back and bicep muscles. So that is what we're going to be focusing on today. I absolutely love back day. I used to never like it, and now it's like one of my favorite things ever. So I'm super excited to take you guys through it, and I just have my favorite back staples that I will never give up. So without further ado, let's just get right into the workout. We are beginning the workout with a dumbbell chest supported row. So you want to grab 2 dumbbells and then you want to put the bench at about an incline so that you can get this full row range of motion. Doing this just makes it so it isolates the back muscles and you can't use your body to sway. If you guys want though, you can do any other row variation that you like. So you can do barbell row, bent over row without the chest support, but the chest support is just going to help to isolate. This is not ideal for some of the girls with the bigger yiddies, so that's totally understandable, but it worked for me. And now we're going to go into some lat pull downs. I've been seeing a lot of success with these when I do them at a higher rep range in general. So I'm doing 5 sets of 12 here, and you really want to try to challenge yourself with the weight. Even if it's only challenging yourself with the first few sets, just try to challenge yourself as much as you can. Remember not to pull with your thumbs and think about tucking your elbows into your back pockets. And I'm sorry I don't have a side view, but as you're pulling the attachment down, you want to bring your chest back a little bit to allow that full range of motion. So you want to get a slight lean backwards to allow for the bar path to just be straight up and down. Now we're going to be moving into seated cable rows, not doing single arm this block. I know, very shocking, but I'm just doing both arms, and you guys can use whatever cable attachment is best for you. I know that there's some wider grips, some closer grip. This one is closer grip here today. And the main consideration with this is you want to be pulling towards your belly button. You don't want to be pulling upwards. You also want to make sure that you're getting that full range of motion. So allow the cable to go all the way back towards the attachment before pulling again to ensure that you're getting the most out of the movement. But now we're going to be moving into a single arm high to low cable row. You can also do this. A lot of gyms have machines for this, but I wanted to show you guys how to do it on a cable. That way it's accessible for everybody. You want to grab a D handle and you want to put the cable up so that you are pulling at an angle, as you guys can see me doing here. You want to be far enough back so that you're pulling at this angle, because this specific angle is what's going to target the lats better. And last few tips would be to keep your torso upright and to not use your thumb, again, to recruit less arm and more back. Next movement we're doing is face pulls. These are going to target more rear delt. You guys can also do rear delt cable flies. And the key consideration here is you want to be holding the rope attachment and you want your thumbs to be facing you. So think about if you were pointing to yourself with your thumbs, how you would gesture your hands, and that's how you want to be holding onto the rope attachment. Then you want to be pulling towards your forehead and you want to make 90-degree angles with your arms. So you want your elbows, they come outwards. And I'm doing these seated to eliminate body swaying, but you guys can absolutely do these standing if that is more comfortable for you. And now we are going to finish off by doing rope bicep curls. I always say you guys can choose any variation of curl that you feel like doing. I've been liking these a lot recently. I do them at a higher rep range, and I think the rope attachment is just something different for me that I've really been enjoying. enjoying, but basically you want to think about keeping your elbows fixed to your side and then getting that full range of motion. So letting your arms go completely straight before pulling up for the next rep. And I've noticed that this higher rep range allows my muscles to feel more stimulated. And I'm not big on growing my biceps, so this is why I only do one movement, but you guys can absolutely add in some different variations if you're looking to do more. Okay, that is going to conclude today's video. I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. I hope it helped you guys in any way, whether it's giving you guys a completely new routine to follow or just teaching you how to do certain exercises or just giving you the inspiration to go to the gym. That's what I'm here for. And I hope that I can be of help to you guys, because genuinely it makes me so happy to see your comments on these videos saying that it's helpful or informative or help to inspire you to get into the gym, because I know that it can be hard sometimes and you need a change of routine, and that's why I try to provide you guys with my week of workouts as my routine changes. And I just want to remind you guys, with the holidays coming up, it's totally okay if you have to take some time off, if you guys have to do things a little bit differently. You don't have to be strict on yourself. Enjoy your time, enjoy the time with your family, enjoy the meals that you have, and just make an effort and a plan to get back into the gym when life calms down. And I say this every time, but I really do mean it, and I really do respond when people message me. If you guys ever have questions on form, if you just have questions in general, I'm always here to help you guys in any way that I can. Just thank you guys so much for all the love and support on YouTube this year. It has been insane. This is probably my last week of workouts for this year, but I can't wait to start 2023 with a new week of workouts video for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will actually put the workouts down in the description this time, because I know a lot of you guys want something that you can bring with you to the gym. And just remember, reps, sets, everything like that can be up to you. I'm providing you guys with what I did that week or that day, but that does not mean that that's what you have to do. Make sure you pick what feels appropriate to you. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys. More week of workouts are to come. More workout videos are to come. And just thank you again for all your support this year. It means the world to me. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.